and we are live. Greetings and salutations, Focus Up family. Welcome to the January 13, 2024 installment of the Focus Up Show. We thank you for tuning in with us live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on YouTube and various other platforms, or catching up with us on replay. And we ask that you click that like, that subscribe, that bell, and share to support and maintain your weekly Focus Up fix. I am Mr. Nice Guy, nice as in the word saint spelled backwards. And my co-host today, the lovely First Lady J. We got Brother Charles X back with the news, and we got Mr. Floyd X in the ether. And guess who's back? El Pooh, the producer. What up? And we got Walk here too. We're trying to work out some technicalities, but we're trying to get him in. What's going on with you, First Lady? Oh, wait a second. There goes the Walk. Bring him in, El Pooh. What's going on with you, First Lady?
And I'm just blessed to see another day and looking forward to a very wonderful and amazing weekend. Especially tonight, I get to view the Michael Jackson musical Broadway on Hollywood. So I'm looking forward to that. Hope you all are doing well too.
That's what's up. What's going on with you, Brother Charles X? Oh, you muted. You muted, brother. Hold on a second.
You got the mute.
Apologize about that. I'm just excited about the show and ready to rock and roll.
El Pooh, what it do?
Hey, happy to be back here. You know how it is. Hey, how y'all do?
Walk, what's up? What's going on with you, brother?
What's up, my brothers? You know me. Yeah, I'm here. How's that? How do I sound?
Oh, you sound perfect. You look perfect. You look like you're chilling. You look like you straight, brother.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it from in here, but I'm gonna just have to talk a little low.
Uh-oh. So then he can't. Oh, this is even perfect. It's the best of both worlds. Yeah, Mr. Floyd X, I hear you in the ether. What's going on with you, brother? Boss
I'm
man.
good, brother. I'm good. I'm ready to get the show cracking, ready to talk about the in the news topic. We got Brother Charles on here, represent again. We got Nice Guy, everybody here ready to do that thing. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
That's right. So let's get on with the get. What you got with us in the news, Miss First Lady?
Well, in the news, I have Chris Christie first drops out of the 2024 presidential race. His departure could make room for to grow her support in New Hampshire, while Christie had grabbed a slice of anti-Trump Republican voters.
So we weren't really going to speak too much on this, other than the fact that he was my favorite Republican still in there. You know, he reminded me a lot of Kasich. You know, if it came down to Christie and Biden, I would have definitely went for Christie. But you know, he was never going to get any traction in the Republican Party, and I don't know if we want to dedicate too much resources to that. So, anybody else feel a need to say on that, or we're just going to go on to the next one?
Yeah, the Republican race is now a little bit lighter with Chris Christie out. That's all I got to say.
And he opened up a path for Haley. Wow. So, you know, the people that were supporting him probably run over the Haley. So it should be a little bit more competitive with Mr. Trump.
You know, with the subliminals. Right. They are wasting their time. They like that's why Trump didn't even get into the debate, because he don't have to, and his numbers is going up. Like it's kind of ingenious to just even do it like that. Like, I'm not going to even entertain you clowns. So Chris Christie basically ran out of money in donors. So that's what it is.
What do we got up next, First Lady?
Up next, we have such a sad story. California mother says 10-year-old fatally shot her son, also 10, after losing bike race. Keith KJ Frierson's mother said her son won the informal neighborhood race before he was shot in Sacramento County.
Yeah, so
So,
we got an update on that story. The funeral services will be held today for the young brother here in Sacramento. So I believe it's open to the public. But we support and our condolences again to the mother. I think one of the parents are in jail. The 53-year-old parent, he pled not guilty, but he's in jail behind this situation right now. I think that's all I have.
Hey, like Walk said, the bottom line is if you give your kid access, you allow your kid access to your gun, and your kid does something terrible with it, you are absolutely responsible. So, the parents should get you don't take it lightly in that type of situation. It's like you pull the trigger yourself, even creating that situation. Is that it?
Yeah, I would add on this subject that this was literally in my neighborhood right down the street, and the biggest debate here in my neighborhood has been should the 12-year-old child who shot the other child be actually involved inside the legal process. Under Senate Bill SB 439 that was passed by Jerry Brown back in 2018. It allows for the children under 12 or under not to be prosecuted in situations similar to this, although murder is one of those situations that does allow prosecution. But here the DA decided that just the father should be the one who has sole criminal liability for the death. So again, the debate here has been should the I'm sorry, not 12-year-old boy, he was 11 or a 10-year-old young man, who was the shooter in the case. Some are calling for him not to be just let out and no other further action being done, which is what the case is right now. Many people want to see him somehow involved with the criminal justice process, dealing with rehabilitation.
Hey, do you think a 10-year-old is old enough to have at least some type of liability? That's just a question I want to ask to the general.
I think so. It's a thing called a bad seed. He freaking took a gun and killed a kid. That's a bad seed. Ain't nothing gonna be good at that kid. Get rid of him. Real talk, not even joking.
Yeah.
He doesn't know the meaning of good sportsmanship. That's a lot that our kids are not taught about having good sportsmanship. They have these attitudes, get mad, tantrums when they lose, and that's basically what appears to have happened in this case. And I always say that. And then some children do not even know how to decipher the difference when it comes to guns. They think guns are some like the video games. You shoot them and they get right back up and stuff. That's not always the case. And that's a kid that just poor sportsmanship and anger management. And go ahead.
I think it's all about access. You got access to a gun, you're gonna do some stupid things. I think a lot of us being 10 years old, if we had access to a gun, there's not no telling that who we would have shot. And I mean, I'm not joking about it either, but that's just the reality. That's why I understand with the parent being in jail behind it. I mean, you got to be, because you're responsible. Your child should not have access to no gun.
I agree. And that parent probably would want the same thing to happen to the next parent.
That's right.
Their child would have been shot. They would have been looking for the parent to be accountable because why did the child have access to it?
Yep. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to our brother Barry Axius out here in Sacramento. He's supporting the mother out there, standing next to the mother. Shout out to brother Barry. He's been a community activist since I can remember, at least 10 years or more, with the voices of the youth.
That's the spawn of Satan. That's the spawn of Satan. Get rid of them. I'm just saying, look, some people are just messed up here, just downright crazy. That little boy, obviously something wrong with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Who thinks of that? Who go gets a gun and he must have had the gun on him. Where something like that? It's pretty meditated. That boy's just a bad seed. Sometimes it happens.
What grade is 10-year-old? What a 10-year-old?
Fifth grade.
Fifth
grade.
Yeah, you pretty much know. You sharp enough to understand the concept of a gun and shooting somebody in death. So I kind of lean into Walcap. I don't know if I'm going to say that he's a bad seed, throw him away, but the bottom line is he crossed the line. He got to pay. So, that's the real thing. Did you say something about this, Pooh?
I don't know. At 10 years old, I don't think you have the mental capacity to really understand everything. I mean, that's all I got to say. Because the older you get, the more you develop, a conscience. And when you're 10 years old, you're still trying to come into yourself. So I don't think you should be thrown away like that. But it should be some type of consequences. But the consequences should be more on the parents than it is the little child, because the child don't really know. How did the child get access to the gun? Let's go back to that question. How did he get access to the damn gun?
The gun was in the father's car, and then upon the little boy losing the race, he knew the gun was there, went to the car, and grabbed the gun, came back and shot the little brother.
Yeah, now that you say that, I changed my position. He knew exactly what was going. He knew everything about what he was going to do. He needs the full punishment. Period. I don't care. Try that little bastard as an adult. No.
At 10 years old, for real?
At 10 years old. Honestly, the crime for murder is a life for a life in where I'm coming from. So put it this way: if that was my kid, he'd be I'm not supposed to be saying this stuff on it. I'm just saying, if it was my kid, it wouldn't probably just be him.
If it was my kid,
yeah, I don't think it's an argument about the father being brought into the legal process and being held accountable. But the real question is, should there be some sort of consequence? Maybe not life imprisonment. Be some type of consequence for the little boy. But what happened here was the little boy was let out of the juvenile detention center and went back to life as normal. And that's where a lot of the community here that I'm from, literally this happened a mile down the street from me, is the people are definitely, upset about that fact.
Yeah. So that's good stuff. Thank you for that extra information. What we got up next, First Lady?
Let's jump to Cameron, First Lady.
There
You
we
don't
go.
mind.
Okay, sure. Cameron Shuns being labeled African American. Africans don't even F with us. Cameron has revealed that he identifies as Black and prefers not to be labeled as an African American due to the seeming chasm in relations between Black Americans and Native Americans.
Yeah, he was dragged through the internet this week with people saying, who you listening to? And they was trying to associate him with Dr. Umar or Brother Tariq Nasheed. Who is he listening to talking like that? And, a lot of people got their feelings on how they identify. Me personally, I'll take African-American, I'll take Black, I'll take anything that's respectful. I'm just united with all Blacks across the country. And that's me personally. But what y'all think about that?
Yeah, my take on it is you're right. I embrace what encompasses us all, not just here, all over the world. So that's why I like Black. I'm blackity black, 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 black. So it ain't about just the Black people here. It's about the Black people everywhere through the entire course of history. And, we understand that race is a construct that they created anyways. But they created a concept where they created a description of a people that are on the far extreme of the spectrum of them. And I wear that with a badge. So that's where I'm at on that.
It's really all about preference. Cameron, he preferred to be called that. Like, as far as me, I'm like, whatever, I'm a Black man. I'm African, either or. That rocks with me. However you want to label me, but keep it respectful, and that's it. It's really about everybody's preference. I don't really see what's the big deal about what he said, because but a lot of Black people in America, they have no connection. They feel they have no connection with the African continent. That's just a lot of Black people in America. So, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I would echo much of what I've heard, thus far, is that I'm not offended, by any of the terminology, although I come from a background of being both in the Nation of Islam and studying with the Moors real heavy. So I understand the different, back and forth between, the status of being a Black, how that's not a race, not a country or whatnot. And I also understand that, most of us, we all came from Africa, one way or another, but most of us here in America, we don't have any person or any family that we know of, in Africa. You know what I mean? Literally in our family lineage and DNA, and the majority of us have come from the United States, if you will, this territory, for thousands, over 1,000 years. You know what I mean? So this is really where we're from. And then the way so-called white people have done this thing is that they've tried to have us attach ourselves to Africa so we could give up claim to this land here. You know what I mean? So when you start understanding, what the game is about, I understand how some could be offended and not recognize that they're African America and that they come from, this, a territory being North America itself, But so I think it's just important to note that.
El Poo?
Man, look, I can't take a man that wears pink seriously. That's all I got to say about that, too.
Just like
That's
that.
That's what's
Just
up.
like that.
So what's up next?
I know El Poo wanted to speak on that Boeing 737, right?
Oh, I just want to speak on it, man. Yeah, because I don't like to fly, and this is another reason why I shouldn't be flying. That Boeing 737 MAX 9 plane that had the door/window or whatever that opened up at 16,000 feet in the air. That ain't a good thing.
Nah.
This ain't 1971. This ain't Marvin Gaye flying high in the friendly skies. Things ain't built the way they used to be built. That's why I like old cars built with steel. I don't like this new stuff. I want my airplane to be built with steel. If it ain't built right, I might not be flying. So check this out. I might be on the train or the Greyhound if I come to see you. That's all I got to say. So y'all be careful out there.
This just a week after we was talking about the other plane, the Japan crash, and then I know myself was trying to put it out there that flying is safe because 5,000 planes fly over the U.S. every day. It's safe to fly. It's safe to fly. That's how I feel. But if that door popped open, I'll probably be in the same boat as El Poo. Like, you know what? I need to take a break on flying.
Yeah, I'd be traumatized. I mean, I know that lady said that it took her son's shirt off.
Damn.
So they're sitting there flying the whole time with the top popped, And I mean that's crazy. I mean,
and you know what's even worse? Some man's phone had flew out the window or out the door or whatever too. So he was really upset.
That's a miracle that no one just happened to be going on a bathroom break or whatever. It just didn't get sucked out. So again, salute to great fortune that it was limited to what it was. But I mean, you think about what it could have been. I mean that's some messy stuff. I mean, hey, don't play around in these planes. Some people, that makes me think about them people that be trying to open the doors and while the plane is flying. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna be booked on some serious violence if I see someone trying to open the door while we up in the air, even though it should be virtually impossible just because of the pressure on the outside versus the pressure on the inside. But just the attempt is pretty much gonna make me go thermonuclear. So that's all I got to say about that.
What you gonna say, First Lady? I saw you was about to say something over there.
I don't have, as much as I fly, I do not like flying. I'm always traumatized. I just pray before takeoff, during takeoff, after takeoff. And I'm like Thomas, if I see anybody acting foolish, I'm gonna react. I'm not just gonna sit there in my seat.
That's right.
I'm attacking. Little old me gonna jump up and attack.
Hey, Walk, if we on the plane and I give you those eyes, man, be ready to go.
Just throw the hat. We get to see. Toss the hat.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Hey, Brother Charles, did you want to speak on something in the news? You had like the, I think it was the Israel thing.
Well, of course, the Israel, facing charges via the International Court from South Africa. They made some very compelling arguments. That was something in the news. I don't want to take up too much time in it. That could be a topic in and of itself. But I think what we discussed earlier was the airstrikes the U.S. just launched against Yemen, who they call the Houthis, that are better recognized, by their real name as Ansar Allah, which means supporters of God. 80% of the population lives underneath that revolutionary government, and of course the primary reason why the U.S. made the move is that they've been trying to weaken Israel by allowing supplies not to come to Israel. And so they're in the Red Sea. They target boats and different vessels coming into that region and bring supplies, and they've been very vigilant and slowing down that reality there. So these airstrikes, I don't think they're going to really amount to much, because they being the so-called Houthis have been being bombed by America and the Saudi Arabia, the UK for a number of years now, and they've only gotten stronger. Again, they have a revolutionary government. Is more groups too that are recognized inside that government. They're not unlike what the Western news is reporting. They're not tied. They're not proxy of Iran. They have their own government, and so this is something that is going to grow the conflict in that region, which is going to expand, to ultimately America and maybe other countries sending troops into that region, is what I believe. So
that's the big concern. And not only that, now of course their argument is saying that that Americans have actually been subject to some of these strikes are not just. I understand the intent is to slow down and the stuff that gets to Israel, and basically it's about Israel response to what they're doing to the innocent people of Palestine. But the fact of the matter is that I guess the Biden administration is taking the position that, look, now you're targeting American civilians and American military that's just doing free trade. So that's why they got into it. And I know the Republicans jumped all over them, because they're like, look, you just launched this without going to Congress and all this other stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going on. But like Charles X said, that this could be a precipice to a much bigger conflict going on. So hopefully it doesn't get to that. But again, that's nothing that we can control. We just sitting here like everybody else. You got something to say about that, Brother Walk? You put it this way: the way that you're looking is basically my reaction to it. What can we do? Yeah.
I don't really have no comment on this.
Yeah.
Right.
So, is that anybody else want to say something about that, or are we on to the next?
I think that's it as far as the news go, huh?
You know what? But there before we, and one thing we're definitely going to talk about is Martin Luther King, because his birthday is coming up, and that's going to be a topic. But there was two things in the news that I wanted to talk about. One thing I wanted to talk about was the Jonathan Majors interview. I did check that in full, and
Speak on it, nice guy. Speak on it.
This brother. I mean, look, he's got my compassion. I just get even more angry when I think about Bragg and the whole launch, how they basically, career assassinated this black man. But he's still sort of like he talked about he said, do I deserve a second chance? And he's like, I think I should. And I'm like, no, bro, that's not the tactic that you take. You shouldn't. This shouldn't be an issue about you second chance. You shouldn't have. Your first chance shouldn't have been taken away. This is nonsense of what was been done against you. And you taking this like way too more easier for me. I'd be way more rah about this stuff. But and I know that Coretta Scott King's daughter got upset because he said Megan Good is actually holding him down like Coretta Scott King, and she's saying my mother is not just a prop, which I think is kind of an insult. It's a shot that doesn't need to be taken. He's just basically saying that the woman is holding him down. Megan Good is not just some background person. She's a big star on her own. She's done a lot of stuff.
He compared the white girl to Coretta Scott King. What is this obsession with Coretta Scott King? Yo, keep her name out your mouth. He did he committed crimes against that poor innocent white woman.
Oh my goodness.
He has
fix the screen.
Let me fix this screen, man. What in the world?
I think everyone should have their say, but Walk, come on, brother Walk. As a men's advocate, we all know the deal, that's taking place here is something that's been going on since the so-called Me Too movement has begun. And that has been that anytime a woman makes a charge against a man, instantly, right away, he is guilty. And this is how he's faced consequences before trials have even taken place. And then also obviously the war that goes on in the media, in general, where there's a trial, in the public that's taking place. on a situation. But clearly, we saw the videos. This brother was not abusing or abusive towards anybody, and he's definitely, getting done dirty in this situation. No doubt about it.
That's what's up. Anybody else got something to say about this?
Yes. Let me speak on this real quick. Look, as Black folks, we should not be so dependent on the acceptance of white people. We know that he's missing out on millions of dollars. We get that. They could give it to you, they could take it away. But I think Jonathan Majors, he should have rooted himself. He still can. Because Black people still look to him and be like, man, he got a chance and he cool. He to do this. He needs to root himself in Blackness. And I mean going to Black media, doing Black stuff. I know he got a Black girl now. Good job, Megan Good. I know people got their feelings about it, but I like Megan Good. But you got to root. You have to root yourself in Blackness, brother. Go to the Black media. Go to the Black sites. Be seen in Black areas doing Black shit. And, focus on that. Don't get mad and sad and be begging on the interview crying about you might not get back into Hollywood. Get the hell out of here, man. F all that, brother. Come to the Black media. Get on some Black platforms. Talk your talk and represent, brother.
That's right. Come on to the Focus Up Show.
Word.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Well, look. Let me clear it up. Like, of course, I was kind of being sarcastic. We know what really happened. He's a big old brother running from a little white woman. I just say that because to me, it seems like Black men never learn, especially in Hollywood and the athletes. You messing with these white girls, they know they could push that button and say you did something wrong, and you gonna get locked up. I'm terrified of white women.
That's what Cat Williams said.
It's not just white; it could be any woman.
Oh.
Right.
Well, still, but no, it's different. That reminds me of that what was that show? Blackish, where they was in an elevator and the little white girl.
Yeah, that was funny.
It's like, no,
that was funny.
that was really funny.
He was like, they tried to get you too, brother.
Yeah. Oh no, I cracked up. But I mean, just to remind you all, there's been plenty of cases where, and I've faced it myself. Where a sister could charge you with something that is totally not based in fact or reality, no proof at all. And the moment the charges are levied, you're talking about you could have a complete warrant issue for your arrest.
Oh,
what I mean?
No, we get what you're saying, because that happened to Walk too. The reality is you're absolutely right. It's not just, but white people can do it, and then they get the white people behind them and the white, the white machine. So that's why we talk about it's a lot more powerful. That sister can do something to you.
White women behind them.
Yeah, but
feminists.
I think he said white people because a la Rosewood, the movie. It was you know what I'm saying? So hey, it is what it is. But shout out to Martin Luther King. It's his birthday Monday, and I just want to say one more thing. Shout out to me, Leslie Vashon King. Birthday is Wednesday. Finna be 51. Just want to throw that out there, y'all.
Happy birthday anniversary, brother.
Happy birthday, brother.
In the news thing, I want to talk about the
happy birthday, El Pooh. I'm gonna get you the same thing I got you last year, buddy.
Yes, sir. I expect that.
Stephen A. going thermonuclear on Jason Whitlock.
All right, let's get into it. Then we're gonna go to the Martin Luther.
Yeah. We were trying to do the bad things before we get into the good things. But Jason Whitlock. First of all, if you don't know who Jason Whitlock is, the crib notes, the cheat notes is he's basically a blackface that white people
bastard
to say hurtful white things. That's what he is. This dude will literally attack anything black, everything black, and make the dumbest white argument possible. And that's his career. That's his niche. And I don't know exactly what he did to really piss off Stephen A. But I mean, Stephen A. went nuts. I didn't necessarily co-sign to calling him fat. I mean, to me, that's like low-hanging fruit. But this dude is, hate to use the term, and this could expose me to liability because it's very bad. But he's a super Uncle Tom. So make no mistakes about it. That dude is no part of the black. What they call that in Chappelle, when they were like the black people that vote you in and stuff like that. The bottom line is
the black delegation.
That's right.
allegation.
He is no part of that.
But let me put the picture up real quick. Stephen A. You know he got his own podcast or show, YouTube show, and he went nuclear on the brother so-called brother, Mr. Whitlock. Mr. Whitlock, he always taking shots. I remember the first, it's some people when you see him, you know what angle they coming from. And even though people call, like Corey Holcomb, for example, they call Stephen A. a coon, or they use that word sometimes towards Stephen A. I like Stephen A. I respect his opinion on sports, and most of the time he get it right. But as far as I lost my thought. But
No,
Jason Whitlock,
actual coon.
actual coon, yeah, the actual coon. I don't look at him as an actual coon. I know he does a lot for black folks, and he just to me, it's the same thing. You fall in that boat where you want to be an acceptance of white folks. And we got to get out of that shit and be ready to lose all that shit if we can't speak our mind freely and represent our people. You got to be ready to lose all that shit and stop. $20 million annual income. You should be sitting there and yes sir, boss. Yes sir, boss. No, cut that shit. That's all I got to say.
You born, you walk.
No. I'm tired. Stop the coon on coon
I would say
violence.
something about Whitlock.
No, go ahead, walk. No, walk. You was about to say walk. Go ahead, finish walk.
No, stop the coon on coon violence. Just stop Whitlock and Stephen A. Coon on coon violence is bad.
Go ahead. What were you saying, Brother Charles?
Yes, I would say that there's definitely been some moments where Whitlock, and you could throw him in with sometimes your Candace Owens as well. Is sometimes they could definitely be construed that they are not as pro-black as we would want them to be, so-called pro-black as we would want them to be. But he's definitely taken some revolutionary stance. I recall back in November 8, 2022, where when Kyrie was going through the madness he was going with, he came out and highlighted that the same thing when it happened to Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X in regards, to Kyrie. So he's definitely taken some revolutionary stances as well. So we can't put him in that complete box of just saying he's just all out, coon, what I mean? But, there are moments where some of the stances that he has taken may be, considered, to be, in that category, but, I think it's wrong for us just to put them completely in that box, in terms of some people would say that you're a coon if you support electing Trump. You see what I'm saying? So I think it goes a little deeper in regards to Jason Whitlock. I'm not completely familiar with the beef that him and Stephen A have, other than Whitlock. It's important to note that he used to be on ESPN, so clearly, there's a lot of defection that took place on ESPN where people accuse ESPN of going woke. And a lot of people left ESPN, through the years as their change of ownership and culture was taking place. So I think we should keep that in mind as well.
Well, I'll say the thing about Jason Whitlock, maybe he says some good things, but I'm gonna chalk that up to a broke clock being right at least twice a day. But, what you got to say? You got anything to say about this, First Lady?
No, I do not.
Brother El Poo?
I'll take a pass. Let's roll.
You want to go into the commercials, or you want to go right?
We'll run them commercials real quick. Let's run them commercials. Start off with our favorite Mr. Brother La Brea Truck and let it go. All your trucking needs, La Brea Trucking. Go to La Brea Trucking. Hey, this next one is important to me right here. You know what? I got a call earlier this week. Brother was looking for motivation, and I wasn't there to give him the motivation. But you know what? This Thursday, we doing this Thursday. We're gonna revamp and make this sex talk. Sex Talk with Walk Thursday. Tune in this Thursday. We coming strong, right, Mr. Walk?
Certainly. I fell off. I've been having a lot going on, but definitely will be back this Thursday, 9 p.m. Promise you. Yes.
Let's go. Let's go. Next up. Oh, next up.
Go get you some of that black honey. That's gobealive.org.
Yes. Muhammad's Meats, black owned halal meat. The Oakland, man, this damn dog. Come on, man. All right, Muhammad's Meat. Get you some Muhammad's Meat. He's out in Oakland. He's out in Oakland. What I want to touch on. See, I missed my thoughts. Let's go. Move to the next commercial.
That's right. Saturday, 9 a.m. Catch us live. Catch us on replay. Share, like, subscribe, click that bell. That's what's up. So I guess we're going to go right into talking about Dr. Martin Luther King. Now, I'm going to take a little step back on this. I appreciate what this brother has done. You can't undersell his impact on Black people, the quality of Black people's lives. I don't necessarily agree it was the greatest path for us to get to this point in time, but the fact of the matter is that we've absolutely benefited. When you think about the life, what we're dealing with now versus what they were dealing with then, you just got to appreciate and respect anybody that would, risk his life and die for what he did. So salute to Dr. Martin Luther King.
Sir, let me say this real quick, brother. I know there was a point in my life where I pitted him in my head because it was pushed on me, pitted him against Malcolm X, like I would be with Malcolm or I would be with Martin. Nah, man. Martin Luther King did so much for Black people. He's to be respected and honored. That brother stood in them lines of fire, even though we may not agree with his methods, he was doing it. And I sit there, when I look at him, I was doing my research, all the things that he accomplished. I'll get into them later and we'll speak on them. But I just want to say we need to just honor and respect this brother, Martin Luther King. He stood and fought the good fight. He wasn't no patsy. He wasn't no white man's tool. He was a brother out there that was doing it for real.
Definitely was on the front line. You don't see that today. You don't see Creflo Dollar. You don't see TD Jakes on the front line fighting for like police brutality or police genocide. Or, you know what I'm saying? You don't see them. They're not on the front line. Because you know what started happening? They get a tax write-off for the church. So they can't participate. If they do, they might lose that funding. So I think that's part of the reason why they don't, represent like they used to back in the day. Martin Luther King put his life on the line and was very brave to do so back in those times. Like Mr. Nice Guy say, yo, salute to Martin Luther King.
You got something to say there, First Lady?
Yes, if I had to describe King in 3 words, Martin Luther King, I would describe him as resilience, perseverance, a man of integrity. Like, the man has been arrested 29 times. He's escaped death more than once, and the fact that his mom was even killed 6 years after he was assassinated. Like, he sacrificed a lot and he fought for us. A sad part that I said, I feel like we don't do much justice for him, especially fighting for segregation when our own people are still separated. We may be integrated, but our people are separated, which means to me that we don't show enough appreciation for what this man stood for. So I salute him. My top 3 for him, once again, I'll say it: integrity, perseverance, and resilience. I salute you.
Brother Charles X.
But I could let the next person go if you like, because I can speak on MLK for an hour straight, in particular, just on what the little known facts that many of us don't, about him. So I could get into it now, or we could go ahead and
jump. I always try to go to El Poo last, because El Poo always puts a nice cherry on top of the pot. But go ahead, go speak, say what you got to say.
Yes, sir. Well, like Brother Floyd was mentioning earlier, is initially for me, I didn't have the same respect for MLK until I got into the Nation of Islam, where the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave us more insight as to who he was. And then around that same time, for me, a book was published by our brothers Tavis Smiley called The Death of a King, The Real Story of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the final years, of his life. And there was just so much in there that just gave me such a reverence and a love for MLK, to where, it was not present, before, and as a community of so-called Black people, I really don't feel we even, deserved him, because many of us turned on him, especially in those final years. The FBI had labeled MLK under J. Edgar Hoover as the most dangerous man in America, and today, say again?
COINTELPRO, brother.
COINTELPRO, you know what I mean?
There's a number on this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. J. Edgar Hoover was looking for the rise of a Black Messiah and was looking for very candidates who would fit that role. He named both Dr. King and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as being those candidates, both born in Georgia, I might add. And then when he discussed the potentiality of Dr. King being the Black Messiah, he said it would be dependent on one thing and one thing alone. Would Dr. King abandon white liberal doctrines? And the number one the doctrine that white liberals were promoting at that time was integration. During that time, the FBI sent letters to Dr. King encouraging him to commit suicide. And if he didn't, they will make him a subject of a public scandal. And to me, what a lot of us don't know is that in those last days, when I said those last days, I specifically put it on after he delivered the speech Beyond Vietnam, A Time to Break Silence, which was done in April 4th, 1967, where he called America the greatest purveyor of violence in the world. Overnight, the media turned against him. Over 168 major newspapers denounced Dr. King. Next, the LBJ White House denounced him. A Harris poll was done in the country, which was a really respected poll at that time in America, where it shows 75% of all Americans turned on him and 55% of Black people turned on him. The NAACP turned on him, where Roy Wilkins, being very vocal in his criticism. Whitney Young of the National Urban League condemned him. Even baseball player Jackie Robinson distanced himself from Dr. King. And it was all based on, his anti-war stance, at that time, and
nice guy. You was gonna say something?
And that's a testament to what Floyd X is talking about. We at a point we got to get away from. We just can't rely on them. We understand that they're going to turn on us in a heartbeat, and we basically got to go our own path and focus. Because when you talk about like Muhammad Ali, Muhammad Ali, once he spoke bad about going to Vietnam War and all that stuff like that, then they made him. They did everything they could to try to bring him down. And all it did was basically just, rise him up as far as the youngsters. I'm sure that the older people were thinking, oh, he's so anti-American just because whatever that. But the bottom line is, we got to walk our path. And this was a brother that championed our special interests, our particular interests. My mother grew up in segregation. In fact, literally, I was born 3 years after he died in the city where he died. So it's we act like it was a very long time ago, but it really wasn't. So that's what's up. So
no, it definitely wasn't. And the last 3 points I would mention in regards to MLK, and then I'll turn it over to whomever next would like to speak. But Harry Belafonte came out and said that MLK told him personally that he believed we may have integrated into a burning house. Again, this is what MLK say. And then the other thing that just blew my mind was one of the last calls that Martin Luther King Jr. made was from the Lorraine Motel back to his home church in Atlanta, Ebenezer, of course, where he and his father co-pastored, to tell his father the name of the sermon that he would deliver had he not been killed moments later. Do you know what the name of that sermon was to be? Why America May Go to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
Why America May Go to Hell was going to be the last sermon that brother was going to deliver, were he not killed at the age of 39 on April 4th, 1968, a year later after he delivered that speech beyond Vietnam. And the reason why he said that he was the contemplate why America may go to hell was because there was a triple threat that he saw to democracy: racism, poverty, and militarism. Those were the triple threats that he identified.
You said privatization?
No, racism, poverty.
Oh, poverty.
Yes, sir, and militarism.
Oh, militarism. All right.
Yes, sir.
So let's highlight some of the things that he did that stood out. And I mean, one notably is the young age that he started in. I think it was like 26 or 24 when he started out, as far as putting his feet to the ground and marching and doing things for Black folks. He started out real young. He was the youngest person to ever receive a Nobel Peace Prize at age 35. And, you know, for me, the Nobel Peace Prize, he's the only one of notoriety that I think deserve it, because we spoke about that old, what's the name of that dude we spoke on a few weeks ago? Damn.
Don't even start it. Don't even start.
What's the Secretary of State who just passed at 100 years old?
Oh, you talk about Kissinger.
Kissinger, yeah, we spoke on him and how he did not deserve the Nobel Peace Prize, and he was willing to give it back. But Martin Luther King, truthfully and honestly, deserved it, because he marched in peace and he was working to gain equality for Black people for here in America. His resume is extensive. Everything he did in his short-lived life, and we know that America killed him. Ain't no one white man just shot at him. We know that was a plot that America did on him.
Yes.
I just want to say shout out to Martin Luther King. And if you got the day off Monday, go ahead and celebrate that, because he was a great man. Everybody already said all the great things that he did and everything. And I just want to say this too. And he's the only so-called African American that has a holiday in his name. That's an accomplishment there in its own. And I want to send a shout out to Stevie Wonder for being on the front line for making that happen also.
That's right. That song was big. I remember in elementary, you know, that was a big thing. So Stevie Wonder definitely put in some work in the background, you know, making that a big holiday, a big thing. So, you know,
in the foreground, he was out there.
All right.
So, and again, the thing about Malcolm, I think you brought up a great point, because, you know, and I was growing up where a lot of times we pitted the Malcolm X versus the Martin Luther King. And the fact of the matter is they were both important paths to take. So, you know, I felt like Martin Luther King forced white people to see the ugliness of what they were doing. Because when you have a person that's not fighting and you're just beating on them and you're just doing all this other stuff, I mean, you pretty much have to be a monster to think that's okay. So I felt like he was a person that forced them to deal with their humanity if they had it. Whereas Malcolm, he's like, look, I don't need you to understand where I'm coming from. I just need you to respect the fact that, you know, there's going to be serious problems if I don't get what I'm going to get, because I'm going to go get it. So those were both important paths to our struggle and to what they accomplished, and salute to both of those brothers. And again, I don't like pitting them against each other. And shout out, you know, let me bring this up again. Literally, Marvel Comics, they based Professor Xavier and Magneto on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Professor Xavier is who they based on Dr. Martin Luther King, and Magneto was who they based on Malcolm X. And with Malcolm, it was a situation where, you know, our people by any means necessary, and Charles Xavier, you know, those are those parallels. So again,
are you calling us mutant brothers? Are you calling us a mutant?
We're different. Hey, mutant.
Okay.
Hey, the designation for human was Homo superior. So, you know, pause. But you know, that's fine.
Let me speak about the Birmingham, the Montgomery bus boycott. That was a great demonstration. I think it was probably one of the first demonstrations of Black people showing their economic power or ability to affect the economy by not jumping on those buses. This was in 1955, and it lasted 385 days, and they felt the economic impact of us not riding buses. You had black folks who sacrifice their cars and their time to get people to where they're going as a demonstration, because we know with the Rosa Parks situation that they was disrespectful to a black lady who wanted to sit on the bus and all that stuff. So shout out to him for putting that demonstration down that we do have economic power as we do today. We could effectively economically impact the United States if we all just united and put our dollars together. And then the Birmingham
That's right, Wall. He's talking about a fund.
Then let me
That's
speak
not
on
a
the
boycott, brother.
let me speak on the Birmingham campaign in 1963, and that was a fight against the maltreatment of black folks in America, and that was like that's when they really demonstrated how evil they could be, because young people started to join those marches, and that's when they brought out the police dogs and the water hoses. So when you see those videos, it started from that march where they was out there trying to get justice in Birmingham for black folks. So he pushed a lot, and people supported and recognized how impactful it was and how important it was for us to stand up against injustice. And thank you for that, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Amen. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. If I can, I won't do it any justice. And for the sake of time, I don't know that we would have it queued up, but I think it's very important for us to remember the last words that he spoke in his "I've Been to the Mountaintop" speech, which was again his last speech he gave back on April 3rd, 1968. And in that last paragraph, I won't do it any justice, so I will encourage people to go and listen to verbatim how Dr. King said what he said in this particular address. But he said, "Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead, but it doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop and I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity have its place, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And he's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. And I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord."
Amen. Amen.
Man, thank you, brother. We needed that. That was nice. That was great.
Absolutely. Amen.
That's a great way to cap this topic as far as Martin Luther King. Since we got First Lady here and Walk here, we want to jump into that topic because it's been stewing. First Lady put it up there a few weeks ago. And we're going to speak on it. We got about 10 more minutes to speak on it. The Louis Gucci Prada. You want to open it up and speak on it, First Lady?
Sure. I brought it up mentioning like how would a woman or a man feel, especially a female, if their mate bought them a fake brand name, Louis, Gucci, Prada, whatever, as a gift and did not tell them. So it became a good topic for us women. And so I was very interested in hearing you men speak on it. I know how I would feel. And I'll get back to my response of how I feel because I want to hear what Mr. Walk has to say.
Well, you buy me some fake, I'm tell you straight up, I ain't wearing it. I'm not wearing it. I'm going to be insulted. And this actually had happened to me in, I think, the year 2000. My wife at the time, I can talk about it. I know she ain't watching this show. But she bought me, it was a nice watch, but it was gold. And it was not gold. It was fake gold. I mean, it was not even gold plated. And it looked fake, but it was a nice watch. And when I would wear it, my niggas would clown me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was like, why am I wearing this? And it was for her, but I ended up like just getting rid of the watch. And that was not cool. I wish it would have been silver or something like that, and I probably could have got away with it. But don't buy your man nothing fake. Any of that fake knockoff BS, a man ain't rocking it. And I know a woman definitely not gonna rock it.
What happened to her is the thought that counts. What if that's all she could afford and she just, wanted you to be updated, but she couldn't afford the real thing, but she took all she had and sacrificed to give it to you out of love.
If it's the thought that count, you shouldn't have thought that.
Ungrateful walk. Just like on to the next. Okay. Who's next? Elfu.
Look, I'm not into the name brand stuff, so don't waste your money. And I wouldn't know the difference either way because I make the clothes anyway. But don't buy me no fake jewelry. That's not going to work. But as far as the name brand clothes and stuff, I don't even know. I don't know what's Louis, what's Gucci, what's Prada. I didn't even know how to spell Prada. I don't even know about this stuff. So I'm not somebody that can speak on this conversation. But I will tell you this. Instead of buying expensive stuff, just buy something that looks good, and don't waste your money.
Mr. Nice Guy.
My wife would absolutely never buy any knockoff nothing. That's just her dynamic about it. But the reality is, I wouldn't know one way or the difference, and I wouldn't care. That Walk brings up a great point. Put it this way: one thing that I wouldn't wear is like fake Jordans, especially when the Jordan is look like some fat dude that's like falling or something like that. That's just asking for, And again, I'm a grown man. You can clown me, whatever. I'm not thinking of whatever, but I mean, I'm not wearing those. But I mean, as far as the Gucci and Prada stuff, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, we used to get stuff from the swap meet all the time. None of that stuff was real. So I mean, it kind of is what it is. But with me, I do it simple. I wear Dickies. Paxton's clowning me about that. I wear Dickies pants, Dickies shirt. I just get simple stuff. I just get clothes. You know what I'm saying? And Timberland. That's what I do. That's it.
Yeah, let me speak on it. For me, I've never been into high fashion stuff. I'm basic and simple pretty much. And I couldn't imagine my wife was walking around with a $1,000 purse. That sounds insane to me. I know First Lady, she was showing us some purses and things. I was like, you walk around with a $1,300 purse? That sounds crazy to me, but people do it. But I mean, I wouldn't take no fake stuff either. I mean, it is kind of embarrassing to walk around with fake stuff. I wouldn't want to be walking around with no fake stuff. I would never buy my wife anything fake, or I would never buy nobody nothing that's, if it's not the authentic quality stuff, I wouldn't get it. But I do shop by price and not by name.
Mr. Charles X.
Yes, my sentiments are very similar to Brother Floyd's. I'm not really big on the luxury items, but I realize people buy luxury goods for a lot of reasons. Some truly like the products and that they will last a lifetime. Others get joy from possessing something that seems exclusive and unattainable to others. And some just like investing in luxury goods with the income they worked hard for, And so I'm not sure if some of these things depreciate or appreciate in value. If they at least maintain their value, I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. But I definitely don't want anything fake, and nor would I give anything to someone that's fake.
But look, go ahead. Well, if you buy your chick something very expensive like that, you really starting a bad habit. Because I remember I bought my ex-wife from the Timothy company. It was some perfume. That little ass jar cost like $250, and she loved it though. It smelled real good too. Yeah, but then after that ran out, it's like, okay, what you gonna get me next? Next time, I'm like, damn, that thing cost $250 for that BS. But yeah, so then I got her some product. Yeah. I was in the game.
Man.
Okay.
I was getting ready to say, I haven't seen too many really rich billionaires walking around with Gucci, and Prada.
Exactly. Exactly. The rich people, the rich white people, they're not doing all that stuff. They keeping it simple.
With the simple, I think Rolex, Rolex, that adds value.
What were you about to say, Walk? I didn't mean to overtalk you. What did you say?
I think y'all highly mistaken. They do wear that stuff like that perfume, the Prada, the Gucci, the everything, the Chanel lipstick. They wearing that stuff.
You
Trust
talking
me.
about the
They
richest
definitely do.
people. Hey, how remember when Dave Chappelle was talking about Kanye? He's like, billionaires don't walk around with the chains on.
That shit was hilarious.
So that's what's up.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
So what you got to say about this first lady?
Oh, for me, I'm taking all the fake gifts. If you guys give me and I don't know it's fake, and my guy give me a gift and it's fake, I'm gonna rock it and rock it. And then I come back home and he asks about it. I'm be like, I got robbed. Somebody snatched it. And you can give it back because it didn't cost too much.
Just like that, right?
I'm just joking.
Where's the horn? Where's the horn?
Word, I needed a horn for that one.
I'm just joking though.
Look at that shit. Get that shit out of here. Go ahead, LP.
I'm just joking. Even though to you guys it may seem like I'm a material person or whatnot, but most of my stuff are gifts. I never went personally and bought the stuff, but I am one of those that I feel like if a person thought about me, whether it's fake or not, they still spent their money regardless. So I'm not going to be ungrateful or anything like that. I'm not going to toss it away or whatnot. I will definitely utilize it, especially while I'm with that person. I'm not worried about the next person laughing at me or whatnot because you don't know what it took for my spouse to do that. There will be a day when the person is able to give me that. And also, there's a saying, why carry a $1,300 bag if you don't have $1,300 to carry inside of there? So if you bought me a $20 Gucci bag, at least I have $20 to carry in there.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Anybody else want to speak on it?
Nah, because like Mr. Nice Guy said, we all shopped at the swap meet before, so we all rock something fake. So bunk what y'all saying.
Exactly.
Mr. Walk, you get the last word, man. What's the last word, Walk?
Spend your money wisely, baby.